Coffee, one of the most common drinks in the world. Many Americans drink multiple cups every day, saying that they need it for energy. That's what coffee is mainly known for, but there is way more to this plant. For starters, it's sold literally everywhere around the world at Starbucks, Philz, McDonald's, Peet's, etc. So many different forms from normal black coffee to the unicorn frappuccino. And with so many people consuming it, coffee's nutritional value and the effect of caffeine on human health has been widely discussed. As a result, today, Jack and I will try to answer the ultimate question: is coffee beneficial for human health?
First of all, we'll begin talking about what coffee actually is. Coffee, in its most basic form, is a tree covered with green, waxy leaves that grow opposite each other in pairs. Coffee trees grow best in rich soil with mild temperatures and frequent rain. Coffee cherries grow along the branches. It takes about a year for a coffee cherry to mature and about 5 years of growth to reach its full fruit production. Coffee plants can live for up to 100 years, but they are generally harvested between the ages of 7 and 20, because this is when they are most productive. The average coffee tree produces 10 pounds of coffee cherries per year. So how was coffee discovered, you may ask? Coffee was first discovered in the Ethiopian forests in the year 850. Legend has it that Kaldi, a goat herder, discovered coffee after his goats ate these berries and suddenly became super energetic. Kaldi reported his findings to the abbot of the local monastery, who made a drink with the berries and found that it kept him alert through the long hours of the day. The abbot then shared his discovery with the other monks at the monastery, and knowledge of the energizing berries began to spread. Eventually, coffee became cultivated and traded, first in the Arabian Peninsula, and then Persia, Egypt, Syria, Turkey, and many other countries. As the coffee trade expanded, coffee shops began to emerge. One of the first coffee shops was called Kave Khane. It was in these shops that the tradition of eating, drinking, talking, and listening to music began. By the 1650s, there were over 300 coffee houses just in London. Of course, there have always been people against the idea of coffee. Early on, it was often referred to as the bitter invention of Satan. In fact, in 1615, the local clergy of Venice condemned coffee when it made its way into the city. This caused such a ruckus that Pope Clement VIII had to intervene. Before making his decision, he decided to taste it, and once he did, he claimed that it was too delicious to be condemned. Coffee made its way into the Americas in a very interesting way. In 1714, the mayor of Amsterdam presented a young coffee plant to King Louis XIV as a gift. King Louis ordered it to be planted in the Royal Botanical Garden in Paris. Fast forward 9 years, in 1723, Gabriel Declus, a young naval officer, stole a seedling from the plant and transported it all the way to Martinique, where it was successfully planted. In just 50 years, this single plant led to over 18 million coffee trees on the island of Martinique. One of the first things that most people associate with coffee is Starbucks. You see this store on the corner of every block and hear it in the news all the time. Here's a quick rundown of how this famous cafe came to be. In 1971, Starbucks opened their very first store in the Pike Place market of Seattle. In 1982, Howard Schultz joined Starbucks as Director of Retail Operations and Marketing. Starbucks began providing coffee to fine restaurants and espresso bars at this time. By 1984, the first cafe latte was served. Soon after, Starbucks became the first privately owned U.S. company to offer a stock option program that included part-time employees, and in 1991, the company opened their very first airport store in Seattle. In 1993, Starbucks opened a roasting plant in Kent, Washington, and a year later, the company opened its first drive-through location. Starbucks actually invented the word Frappuccino and began selling this line of cold coffee beverages in 1995. In 1998, Starbucks.com was made, which continued to expand the store across the nation. 3 years later, Starbucks introduced the Starbucks card. In an effort to acquire more customers, the company launched Wi-Fi in their stores in 2001. In 2006, Starbucks made a huge breakthrough, launching the industry's first paper beverage cup containing post-consumer recycled fiber. In '07, it eliminated all artificial trans fat and made 2% milk the new standard for espresso beverages. 1 year later, Chairman Howard Schultz returned as Chief Executive Officer and began a transformation of the company. He pushed for the Coffee Equipment Company and its Clover brewing system and adopted a new mission statement: to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Finally, he made great contributions to the launching of My Starbucks Idea, which was Starbucks' first online community. In 2009, Starbucks adopted mobile card payment. In 2010, Starbucks made their Wi-Fi free and unlimited, and a year later, in 2011, Starbucks celebrated their 40th anniversary. Taking action on the political side of things, Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz reinforced the company's commitment to marriage equality at their annual shareholders meeting in 2013. The number of stores that Starbucks has opened since 1971 has grown exponentially, and as of June 28, 2015, Starbucks has 22,519 open stores. As time has passed, drinks containing coffee and the way we enjoy these drinks has changed, and today it actually comes in second to crude oil as the most sought-after commodity in the world.
Coffee has different components that have both positive and negative effects on human health. First, we'll discuss the effect of caffeine. Coffee plants evolved to contain caffeine as a defense mechanism. Caffeine is toxic to insects and fungi, and it can even prevent the growth of plants in the vicinity of coffee plants. In contrast, in humans, caffeine is distributed throughout the body pretty quickly. Most people are aware that caffeine can help give you energy. Specifically, the caffeine molecules bind to adenosine receptors on brain cells, which causes the release of excitatory neurotransmitters. Their increased neural firing causes a release of hormones by the pituitary gland, which causes the adrenal glands to release adrenaline. As a result, drinking caffeine provides more energy, a clearer mind, and is often associated with a lower risk of depression. However, there are multiple drawbacks that come from caffeine. First, because it can make people awake, it can easily disrupt with people's circadian cycles if it's consumed too late. Also, drinking coffee every day in order to wake up can increase a person's tolerance to its effect and make them reliant on it for energy. As a result, people often suffer from withdrawal symptoms, such as headaches, if they don't drink their daily coffee. Large amounts of caffeine can lead to an elevated heart rate, anxiety and depression, nausea and vomiting, insomnia, agitation, restlessness, frequent urination, and much more. But researchers have found that coffee provides many benefits independent of its caffeine content. Green coffee beans, for instance, contain around 1,000 antioxidants, and 300 more antioxidants are added by the process of brewing. Coffee consumption studies have also been linked to a reduced risk of type 2 diabetes mellitus. How does this work, may you ask? Well, coffee may help prevent DM2 by lowering insulin resistance and slowing the absorption of carbohydrates from the intestines. Coffee may also help prevent certain cancers because of the diterpenes, cafestol, and CoL that it contains. Both of these induce phase 2 enzymes involved in carcinogen detoxification, inhibit phase 1 enzyme activity, which prevents carcinogen activation and stimulates intracellular antioxidant defenses. After conducting our research, we have come to the conclusion that coffee on its own is actually healthy, especially decaf. While caffeine may have some negative effects on human health, such as the disruption of circadian cycles and reliance on the energy, it comes along with positive effects like increased energy and a clearer mind. More importantly, the antioxidants and phytonutrients present in the coffee plant create numerous health benefits for consumers and are the main reason why we feel coffee is overall helpful for human health.